What's going on, guys? Let's do a quick, or my version of a quick recap for LCS Week 1. So we'll start with the most recent games that just happened today. We had the grudge match, as they call it, SR versus Dig. And going into this, I had very low expectations for SR. Naturally, as they had a very terrible start last split. And to be honest, you probably shouldn't assume it would be nearly as bad because truly that was awful. How could you repeat such an awful split, right? And then for Dig, they actually showed life going at the end, so you would think possibly it would get better. Now, there is one thing I did mention is that it is an enchanter meta, and Ignar is not an enchanter player, which can be a problem. They also do so happen to have the worst mid jungle, and if for whatever reason Zinni is alive, yes, this could be a problem. And so what happened? Oh, well, their bot lane was game 2 terrible. They played Yunara Lulu into Caitlyn Nico, and the whole point of that matchup is the fact that as Lulu, you have less mana than Nico. Your ECD, is 1 second longer, so Nico tries to find timers within that. But for the most part, you survive the first round. If enemy duo ints, like the Caitlyn ints or Nico ints, you can chase them down. But other than that, you just play to survive, and then you'll be much better starting on the second round after the first phase. Like, you'll actually be able to pressure and fight them. And so that is your game plan. They had their jungler path away, and then they also instantly level 1, which was pretty awful. And so the game kind of just imploded really quickly. And even though they're playing TF, they just couldn't really get anything. Like I said, they couldn't really get anything going. If we look at the second game, it was an XQ, like, masterclass int game. They dove Gnar twice as Renekton, and they came out 1-3, literally killed him once, and died 3 times. That is just astronomically awful. At the same time, the Annie blew Flash to kill XU in Bot River first crab, and yet, after doing that, never punished while playing against Anivia Skarner. Never killed or punished after that. That is crazy. I cannot believe that was how it went down. So, bot lane, not great. That is not a good look for them, especially if teams are going to now realize, like, oh, yeah, we could just pick on them. In this case, they need to look at champions like Nico, Bard. They need to find champions who can lane, but also roam. That is what they need for Dignitas. Their mid jungle, I'm not going to lie, it looks really I don't think they can repair that. It looks really bad still. And that, they need to at least fix the bot lane situation, because if the mid jungle situation is not going to change, they're going to lose games quick. Because Photon was, fine. He honestly was fine for how the games went. Fudge was just okay. I didn't think Fudge's play was anything particularly interesting or amazing. So I don't think there was any change there. But Zinni, the guy that we're all asking about, I think some of his matchups were not the greatest, but irregardless of that, yeah, he did make plays. Finally, he made plays. He made plays, and they worked. He wasn't perma-inting or anything like that. And he even had a big Annie play, and all in all, it was again, against the weakest mid-jungle, if you want to, but still, he played fine. So that was a boon to them. And then Contracts had winning lanes and situations, so he also had a boon in his play. And I just think they weren't really tested SR at all. And so there's still pretty much a question mark to be honest. I think Dig are in a bad situation right now. Dig are looking like they're going to be bottom place just off that one series. But SR, I just can't make up my mind yet. I don't think they're bottom place now due to this, right? But I really don't know how far they're going to climb, because I still wasn't exactly impressed by what I was watching. Then we have TL FlyQuest, right? TL FlyQuest, and for this series, I think, well, unfortunately, FlyQuest is still having the exact same issues they had in Winter, and so their duo lane wins. This is very clear. Their duo lane is pretty much consistently winning in lane. They're solo killing Core JJ, Yeon, had one of the most disgusting lane advantages for it being Yeon and Core JJ. In what was it, game 2? But despite their duo winning, Quad still just fine. He's just doing what he can. Their mid jungle play is not really that great. Like mid jungle is kind of like just a question mark on how they play together. Jungle is kind of inting. Like he's still doing the same plays that he's always been doing, where he just forces things. They can go pretty bad. Like in the first game, he's playing Mbessa and he just base checks the level 6 crab, and he didn't have mid priority. Like he knew for sure Galio fogged into bot river, and yet he just walked in and died. And this kind of happened multiple times where he's doing these kinds of things. And then Cryo, Lord Almighty, this is also an issue. I don't have enough space to write it down here, unfortunately. But Cryo also, again, like I said, his map play is not really that great. He can't read things correctly besides lane, and that's getting punished. So, and then Gakos just is invisible. To be honest, Gakos was invisible. And with all those things factoring in, it's despite them having a 6-2 Corki at like 12 minutes or something, they were not able to like dominate that game as much as they could. Like Griffin was not moving through mid despite his Corki being Thanos and just overtaking camps and like playing a secure way. Soul laners were dipping out of side waves early. Like the Xerath is going down 40 CS and the Gnar is not even pushing out his waves even though he could. They're just kind of like a little bit of a mess. Like the fact that they picked up a win, it's literally because of their duo lane. That is why they picked up that win. And then also Quad, I think Quad had a good Xerath game. Like to be honest, like I think the way he was moving on the map in situations, and then also just giving respect was good. On TL side, it was a Jose masterclass. To be honest, this guy had a really great series. Like seriously, like his Lee Sin and Pantheon games, like he was giving a ton of space. He was getting picks. He was advancing the map. He had a lot of confidence in taking his fights. Like I thought he was good. I thought he had a really good set, and I'm glad he looks better. Core, I'm not gonna lie, Core is looking a little retired. Not trying to be mean, but like, dude, there are moments where I'm watching him play and I'm like, he should never do that. Like he doesn't have a read on the matchups, which he should be a player who probably should have a read on the matchups, but yet he didn't. And so they had some, like I said, they had some big issues in bot lane in this series, which is not a good tell for if you want to try to win LCS. Quid was a bit better. I think Quid still had issues. Like literally in the first game as Galio, he tried the auto shove against Annie, but it wasn't fast enough. Annie froze the wave, and he ends up going down like 10 plus CS in a matchup that he definitely should not go 10 plus down. He had some decent Galliars. He had a really weird flank that just like was terribly executed by him. His Rise game was good, but yeah, he's just not there yet. Like it's just he's just not there yet. He needs more time. I think Morgan was decent. Morgan was decent for what he does and what you expect from him. I thought he was pretty decent. But all in all, it was really just a Jose masterclass. And I think just because Fly has so many inting moments that like it really ruined this series for them. And I have some worries for them because if they're again showing this in spring and it doesn't improve by the end of spring, is it really going to improve in summer? Probably not. And like they're also drafting for like carry jungle and like jungle trying to promote jungle, but like Griffin is not good enough to do that. So yeah. Then we have Sen versus DSG. And I think for this series, like, damn, dude, Kryra, this was also a Kryra masterclass. His Mundo and his Xin Zhao, wow, he fucking owned those games. Like, I don't mean to swear in this case, but like, yeah, he really owned those games big time. He was all over the map. His Xin Zhao was creating a ton of space in fights and initiating with his R in really nice ways. I think their bot lane was, besides game 3, their bot lane was getting kind of shit on. And that was a big issue that they were suffering against Sentinels. But at the same time, while I say it's a Kryra masterclass, it also was a Castle masterclass. Like, Castle was crazy good. Like, he owned Impact completely. And that is to say, Impact, you know how I say, like, it might be a retire angle for Core? It's a retire angle for, it, like, Impact 100%. Like, this has to happen. He is really, really bad. He cannot get out of lane without dying. Counter matchup, strong blind, whatever you want to name it, he is just dying every single time, and this is such a huge issue for this team. Like, whatever he can provide outside of that, it's not worth it for how bad his laning is right now. Hambach is the fucking man. I will say that. Hambach is the man. Like, this guy, you know, yes, there's some issues that he has, and he goes a little bit too far at times fighting with his team, but he's good. He's really good. And so they should be very happy that they have Hambach on the team. I think they're balling, and I think Hui and Hambach do move together, and so that is apparent in the series, but it's just not enough for what's happening in top lane. And then also, Darkwings was getting kind of outplayed by Call Me. Call Me had a good series. Like, can I put this here? Like, Call Me had some really pivotal, big time turning like fight plays, like the Cassio R and Sivir, and like the Yone against Smolder. Like, he was good. He is continuing to show that, like, from last split, where people weren't entirely sure where he would land. Even I wasn't like entirely sure where he would land. And going into this split, I said he would be like fourth best mid or something like that. It's kind of looking like that again. To be honest, like, he's actually playing pretty well. So DSG's whole top side is doing great. That is amazing for them. They have a legit top side to play with. They're ball lane. Yes, they're ball lane 1 game 3. They own the shit out of Sentinel's ball lane. But they played Recon into Alistar, which is pretty terrible. And yeah, I mean, Sentinels didn't really know what the hell they were doing in the third game. Unfortunately, Darkwings can be better. It's still a little lacking at times. And like I said, with their ball lane, they did what they could in the first 2 games, and then they ended it up the last game. And then finally we get to C9 versus Lions, and C9 finally beats them, which is awesome, right? Like, oh shit, we took them out. Especially the game 2, you know, Blabber got cheesed, and it was like looking pretty dire. Like, he was level 4 to level 6. I think he was level 4 at like 7 minutes into the game. And they barely squeaked out a kill on top side. And he's playing like Sejuani, so like if he falls behind and that sticks that way, like he's not going to be able to contest anything. But I think it did show some more resilience, which is like really critical for him, because if he did not show that, I would have no trust in this team going further against Lions. But he showed resilience because the cheese was pretty rough for him, to be honest. Like, how that was navigating initially, it kind of looked like it was just going to be a repeat in what we saw in finals. But they turned it around, and this time, you know, they did put some more attention on this guy, and it was well deserved. It was a Thanatos masterclass. You know, while Lions showed that they were able to pivot with Dokla having these like strong laners and kind of taking out one of the big advantages that C9 has and some of these other teams have, Thanatos really did his job. Like, he literally won the third game, and yeah, he looks good. He's still leveling up. And so, like, the 2 of the top laners are really kind of closing in on, like, the top end of the league is Thanatos and Castle. I think APA was just fine, to be honest. I wasn't overly impressed about what he was doing, but, like, he was just fine. Their bot lane they had some issues, especially, like, you know, again, Lions, like, their bot can lane, but outside of lane they get a little bit worse, especially like Isles. But like, this was kind of like one of their main advantages, right, going into it. And same with Saint. Like, Saint, again, a decent series by him. Same with Inspired. Like, you know, it's kind of like the same parts that are showcasing it. Obviously these 2 are like their pivot points, but I think, you know, them having, like, where I talked about, what was it, Ignar needs to look for champions like Nico, like Bard, who can lane, who then can enhance the game. They were getting that on Vulcan, and Vulcan was putting in some work, especially that last game. He was putting in some damn work, and they need more of that. And again, at least this time, it shows that they're their bot lane is capable of like matching up against Lions, which again is super critical. Because if their sides can win Thanatos and their bot lane against Lion or go even, whatever the case is, whatever happens mid, and you can play this out. And it was a banger series. It was close. It wasn't like just C9 was just a better team. The 2-1, it was a close 2-1. And so these are clearly the two top teams in the league. Easily. I mean, that is expected, but you can for certainly say now, like, these are the two best teams, right? And for the rest of how it falls, it kind of looks like right now that Disguised, if they can figure out their bot lane issues, yeah, they actually might be like the third seed currently. Team Liquid is just there as well, but they have some glaring issues, to be honest. And right now, FlyQuest, Dig, Sentinels, yeah, and I guess SR. I mean, like, these kind of look like your bottom four right now. Again, we need to see more by SR. And then for FlyQuest, it's kind of laid flat in front of you. And so now they have to figure out what the hell to do about that, because it's so obvious what's happening in front of you that any team can prep versus them in that accord. And that's really annoying. And then for Sentinels, like, if your top laner is just better, you're always going to have some random deficit of Sentinels, so that's pretty annoying. Dig, kind of just, I mean, your team just kind of played like shit, to be honest, across the board besides Photon. So I don't know what you're really supposed to do about that. But there was definitely positive things to look at for Team Liquid, for Lion, for Cloud9, for Disguised. And like really for Sentinels, it's their jungler, right? But like that was already obvious. So that's kind of like the LCS week 1 recap. Quickly going over it. And for looking towards like the next week, Dig versus Lions, I mean, these guys are just screwed. SR versus TL, this will be really important for them to showcase themselves. DSG versus Fly. I mean, if DSG wins this, for sure that shows that like their project's just better, to be honest. And like right now, this is kind of like how it's gonna look, right? I mean, this one I'm like unsure of, and this one like I'm certain C9 will definitely just beat them, especially because the top matchup is so drastically bad compared to like this is the best top laner versus the worst top laner. What the hell are you supposed to do? So, well, the second worst top laner. Technically, Gakos can lane better, but like he just does nothing in the game. So all in all, guys, week 1, brief week 2 projections. I'm not going to go too in detail on that, but hope you enjoyed LCS this week. I think it was pretty interesting. I think there was definitely some surprises that happened with C9 winning, with SR Dig, SR actually showing up, Dig just completely not. That's a little bit of surprise, so that's all it is.